Only here, TCU.
Welcome to Only Here. Only here, as in only here at TCU can you experience top-tier academics, game-changing research, big-time athletics, all on a campus with a small-town feel, but in a top-5 media market. I'm Chancellor Pullen. Join me for exclusive conversations with Horned Frog and community leaders, like today's guest, head football coach Sonny Dykes. All right, Coach, it's that time of year again. Fall on campus always has a ton of energy, enthusiasm. Everywhere you look, there's momentum across the university, including Horned Frog football. Give us just a preview of what you're seeing in practice and how the student athletes have been preparing and how they're coming together in the locker room.
Yeah, it's an exciting time of year. I mean, everybody comes back. Our guys had a little bit of a break. We've had a great summer. The players have been working really since June 1st. Had a little bit of a break to go home, see their family, say goodbye, hopefully until the middle of February or until the middle of January. That's the idea. But we'll come back, and once we come back, we'll hit the ground running. And so, we had a great summer. Guys worked really hard. There's a lot of camaraderie between the young men on the team. The guys like working together, a lot of respect for each other. And normally we've had experienced teams like this and had this kind of team feeling. We've had successful seasons. So we're excited about getting started to see how it all plays out.
That's great. Well, one of the hot topics this summer was the return of a seasoned quarterback in the form of Josh Hoover. I've gotten to know him as you have. He's a really outstanding young man, and he loves TCU. And as you know, he can go anywhere he wants to go in the world of the transfer portal. But he chose to stay right here and be what he is, which is a leader. Talk to us about that story and who this young man is.
Yeah, pretty interesting deal. I mean, today's college football world, there's a lot of things that happen, and they happen fast. And so, there was a fairly large SEC institution that had a quarterback that left that somehow reached out to Josh, and he decided he wanted to stay at TCU and turned down quite a bit of money and some opportunities. And he loves being a student here. He loves going to school here. He loves living in Fort Worth. He loves being a part of this football program and this team, and he's excited about the way he's being developed and being used, and we're excited to have him back. And he's a tremendous leader, as you talked about. I mean, he's just one of those kids that makes everybody around him better. Great student, great person, and tremendous leader, and a heck of a football player.
Yeah. Well, I love some of the things that I've heard out of him, and he's playing the long game, right? He's here for as many seasons as we can have him here, and then if he has a professional career thereafter. But at some point, he's going to be a professional in some other line of work.
No question, yeah. And he's going to be incredibly successful in whatever he ends up doing. And for him, he's certainly going to have a chance to be one of the top quarterbacks in college football. I think he'll have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And the great thing about it is Plan B is falling back on his TCU degree, which will pay off for him many years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, how many schools have a Heisman hopeful quarterback that finished their undergraduate studies early and now is enrolled in one of the top energy MBA programs in the country at the Neely School of Business, Ralph Lowe Energy Institute?
Yeah, that's what Josh does. He takes advantage of opportunities, and he's done a tremendous job of doing that. He's also done a tremendous job in the community and the people that he knows and the relationships he's built here. Those are going to pay off for him big when he's done playing football.
Yeah, and it's certainly, we're talking about the starting quarterback, and there's always a lot of visibility there. But as I look across that whole roster, you've got men of character that are coming together in a great way. How do you think about setting the tone in the locker room?
Yeah, I think the big thing for us, as I alluded to earlier, was just team really likes each other. There's just a lot of mutual respect among these guys. They push each other, they compete hard against each other, but at the end of the day, they're rooting for each other, and they love being here. I mean, that's what is so special about TCU and this community of Fort Worth, is that our student athletes, they love playing here, they love going to school here, they love living in Fort Worth, and we do have something special just again with the mutual respect and camaraderie the guys have, and they have shared goals, and they're very, very hungry. We felt like we missed some opportunities last year, so they're ready to get back out there and take advantage of them.
Yeah. Well, somebody whispered in my ear that you might feel as positive about this team as any locker room you've had, any squad you've put together. If that's true, why?
Yeah, I really like this team. I just like being around these guys. In this world of NIL and the transfer portal, you don't hear many people say that. I just think we have something unique. I think these guys, they're in a great place mentally, in a great place physically. They're ready to get started. And again, they just love each other, and they care about each other, and they want to be Horned Frogs. And so when you have that, you have all those things going for you. You have an opportunity, and the roster from top to bottom is probably the strongest I've been around. we've got depth in places we haven't had depth in the past. Even the 22 squad that played for a championship, we didn't have a ton of depth. We had 2 or 3 guys at certain positions, and after that it was rough.
Yeah.
But this group has tremendous depth, more players from top to bottom than we've had on the roster at any point. So, we got to have a great fall camp. We got to stay healthy. We got to make sure that we do what we need to do. But we need to, to go out and to have a chance to compete for a conference championship. We're gonna have to stay healthy, and that's always important.
Yeah. Well, you said that the team's working hard on and beyond the field in the weight room, and certainly part of staying healthy, right, is not just performing on game day, but taking care of your body in the spaces in between. And how lucky are we to have this conversation in TCU's all-new Human Performance Center, which, just like so many wonderful assets at TCU, has been made possible by so many donors. Obviously, the Jane and John Justin Foundation, and the Harrison family has been huge, the Simpsons, and maybe even the Dyke families, right? Yeah, you guys have made an investment as well. Will you talk to us about that and what motivated you to do so?
Yeah, again, just kind of the fact that we love TCU. Kate and I and our kids, we love this community. We love Fort Worth. We wanted to give back any way that we could. And so, we saw this as an opportunity to get back to a university that's given us so much. And we feel like it's one of the best investments we've ever had, or ever made. And, this facility is just fantastic. There's really not other facilities like this anywhere in the world. Certainly not in college football, and so we're really proud of this building and the hard work and dedication that's gone into this. And as you said, none of this happens without our donors, and those guys have really stepped up, and they've given our student athletes everything they need to go out and have a chance to be successful and win at the highest level, and that's what makes TCU so special.
Absolutely, and you're right. This is a special facility, made possible by special people. What features and benefits really stand out to you, or what are the student athletes buzzing about?
Yeah. The cool thing for us is everything's right here. That's one of the best things about our facilities here. It's one-stop shopping, really, from academics to practice facilities to our indoor facility to this restoration center to strength and conditioning. Everything is right here, centrally located, and so our players could come here in the morning. When they get here early, and they can stay here, and then when they're done, they can go to class and be students and have a normal life when they leave the building. But everything is convenient. It's all first-class facilities. The thing our guys are probably most excited about is the cold plunge tubs that we have. That's kind of an active recovery. So guys, after practice, they'll come in, they'll put their helmets and shoulder pads in drying racks, and then they'll proceed down a human car wash. Basically, they'll get sprayed off. They'll go in the cold plunge. They'll have a chance to walk during the cold plunge, which is really a pretty cool technology and helps guys recover. And then they'll come out the back end and with a fueling station. Well, they get dried first of all, and then they'll come out of have a fueling station where they can replenish and do all the things that they do after practice. And then to be able to come in this room with a sauna and a snow room, which is only one of a couple in North America, and then with all these modalities in here as well. So it's a really special facility, and I think it's going to allow our guys to recover, which is critically important, and go out and perform at a high level.
Yeah, well, we're definitely excited about the season and seeing the fruits of these investments and your leadership. Talk to us about that first game, right? There's a lot of buzz as we go to Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
National TV, Labor Day evening, historic, NFL Hall of Fame caliber coach and Bill Belichick. What are we in store for, and maybe what do you take from maybe something similar when Colorado came to town a couple years ago?
Yeah, well, after 22 year, we had that great season. We lost a lot of players. Colorado came in here in 23 and took it to us. And so we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job of making sure our guys understand how much attention is going to be paid to this game. I think we took that for granted a little bit the last go around. Maybe we played a little bit uptight. Certainly didn't play our best. And so we learned from that. Our guys will, we'll make sure that they're prepared for all of the talk and the hype and everything that's going to go along with opening against a Bill Belichick coach team, his first game in college football. So it'll be interesting. But our guys are excited. We've spent a lot of time over the summer looking at North Carolina and trying to figure out what they're going to do offensively and defensively and on special teams, and looking at their personnel. They have a lot of new players from the transfer portal. But it's a great game to open with. As you said, we're the only show on Labor Day that day. I believe we're the only college football game. And so it's a great opportunity for us to gain the attention of the country. And I think this team hopefully be ready for it.
Well, it's a high-profile game, a lot of anticipation, and can't wait to see what we see on the field. One of the things about game days is that the profile of college football has been elevated for decades through people like Lee Corso, who just recently announced that he's stepping back from the booth. I know you know Lee and have seen him in action over the years. Do you have a special memory of him?
Yeah, I mean, Lee's the best. He really is. I've gotten a chance to know him personally through the years. You know, what he's done for college football, I think it's really remarkable, really. I mean, he's created an institution in College Game Day. Everybody watches it now. It's just part of getting ready for college football Saturdays now is game day. You know, he made the picking the teams, the special deal with the headgear and all the things that he's done. He's created excitement. You know, he's just one of those guys. He's just a fun guy to be around. I mean, he's a jokester. The times I've been around him on the sets, he's always cracking jokes and you know, they're always having to say, "Hey, Lee, we're getting ready to go to camera. Things are about to be on TV. It's about to be live." And he's always like, "Don't worry about it. I got it." You know, and so he's just one of those guys that's a blast to be around and has been really, really good for college football. And again, I think just raised as you talked about earlier, raised the profile of the game, and now it's become an institution.
Yeah. Well, college football is replete with so many legends over the years, one of which is your father, Spike Dykes, and his leadership at Texas Tech over the years. What was your best memory of him as coach, and then maybe of him as dad?
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, kind of the same memories. You know, when your dad's a Division I college football coach, you don't see him that often because they're working a lot of hours. There's a lot of stuff going on between recruiting and all the things that head coaches have to do, as you well know. I mean, you know, that's a small part of the job is the job description, and so he lived it. I mean, he was always gone trying to help players, trying to do things, you know, recruiting, as I said, or preparing. But the one thing that he always did is that, you know, he was always available, you know, even when he wasn't. And that was the thing that I think that was so different for him, whether it was me, whether it was one of his players. He was always a phone call away. He always wanted to help. You know, that's that was his thing about in life was really, he's like, I'm here to help. I'm here to help you get from point A to point B, whether you're a player or a son in my case. And, you know, he was always available. And you know, he was a great relationship guy. Yeah. The relationships he built with his players, he really genuinely cared about them. Football was a small part of the relationship he had with those young men, and he went on to care for them and be a part of their lives many years after they quit playing football. And so those personal relationships and how he poured into those, I think, was probably the thing that had the biggest impact on me.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely helped the game get to this point. We're excited about where we are. We also probably, people like us and others, you know, we have an obligation to make sure that this great game continues to be that. There's been a lot of talk about potential college football playoff formats as we look ahead.
Yeah.
How are we thinking about that? You know, what's your best point of view?
Yeah, there's been a lot of models, a lot of modeling talked about. You know, a couple of conferences are proposing certain models where there's an automatic number of qualifying teams, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I've always believed that, you know, the game should be decided on the field. Who makes the playoff ought to be determined by who wins football games, and not necessarily what conference you play in or how many viewers you have or how big your fan base is or your alumni base. And the best teams deserve a chance to play at the very highest level, and we proved that in 22. You know, we took it to Michigan. They lost one game in 2 years, and that was to us. And they were a really, really good football program, and we were significant underdogs, and you know, found a way to get it done. So I think that deciding the games on the field, carrying that over to the way that the college football committee takes a look at those teams. And so I'm in favor of I think the 5+1 model is what they call it, and allowing them to see the teams, and then you go play a tournament and let it play out. And obviously rewarding the teams that had the best regular seasons by seeding, but I think that you know, everybody wants to see a fair system, and as fair as it can be.
Yeah, that's what everybody's looking for. Real rules, real referee, real opportunity as we look ahead. A couple more questions before we wrap up. One of the things that makes TCU so special and differentiated versus most universities is that we've put a very forward emphasis on big-time, top-tier athletics as part of our strategic plan. Why is that so important in your mind?
Well, alignment's incredibly important. It's very, very difficult to succeed at a high level in college athletics. It's incredibly competitive, and you have to have everybody pitching in, and that's the only way you can make it happen. And that's what's so special about TCU, is that everybody here understands how the university's elevated athletics, and athletics has elevated the university, and the two can exist hand in hand, and they can both succeed at very, very high levels. And it all begins there for me. It's just knowing that that everybody appreciates how important our mission is. We're going to have shared values.
Yep.
At the end of the day, we want our young men to graduate. We want them to get a degree that's meaningful. We want them to go on and be very productive citizens when they leave TCU. We also want to win at the very highest level when we're here and competing. And so we can do both. And again, the fact that we recognize how important it is, certainly means the world to me.
Yeah, well, I think you said well, kind of the whole philosophy behind the series that we're doing is called Only Here. There's so many things that can only happen here at Texas Christian University, and you've been a part of so many of those Only Here moments. But does one Only Here moment really stand out as we wrap up our conversation today?
Oh, man, 22 was such a fun year. Year one, you come in here and and you don't really know how things are going to go. It's a new team, new conference, new players, everything's new. And to go 12-0 and start 12-0, and just to see the excitement building in the community here in Fort Worth and around TCU and around the campus, that was just an incredibly invigorating experience for all of us. And it just showed you how important, being successful is here. I mean, TCU is all about winning at the very highest level. And this university loves to do it and has a proud tradition of doing that. And just to see the level of appreciation that our fans had for that team and those players, and it's fun to be part of that with Max Duggan and to kind of get to go through that with Max and go to the Heisman Trophy presentation and all the things were pretty special. And it was just a fun year, and our goal is to get back there. We believe we can get back there. That's why we're here, is to get back to a national championship and win it next time, and we really believe we can do it.
Yeah, well, you're doing all the right things, and everybody that's helping us make these investments, like this Human Performance Center, like making sure we have great student-athlete wraparound success services so they can be successful in not only their athletic career, but as they build a career in the context of life. It all happens right here at TCU, and you're a big part of it. And just want to say thank you for what you do.
No, thank you. Thank you again for your support and understanding how important all this is. And the great thing is we're on the same page, and we believe in the same shared values. And man, it's fun to be a part of pulling the rope together.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for your time today.
Yeah,
I'll let you get back to practice.
All right, thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
Go Frogs.
Appreciate you guys. Go Frogs.